Hi, Sandy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the A.D.K Rock and Metal channel, and today we are checking out a band called Suicidal Angels. No glance of recognition from either of you?
Southern rock?
Yes, there is. I think they're sort of... Are they like from way back, new wave British heavy metal?
Don't know. I don't know anything about them, so...
How did you come across it?
No, definitely.
Recommendation.
Oh, no,
So we're checking out a song called Purified by Fire. We will obviously watch the video and we'll share our thoughts at the end. Let's go check it out. Okay, there we go. Suicide Angels and Purified by Fire. I think Kerry King's going to be issuing a cease and desist order in a minute. But anyway, Kirk, over to you.
Kerry King can certainly not shred his fretboard like that. That was grade 8 standard guitar virtuosity, wasn't it, in the solo? Did you see the stretches that he was doing and some of those shapes on his fretboard? Of course, there's more to a song than just how dazzled you are by the gratuitous shredding of the guitar. But yeah, I agree. It's Slayer and Sepultura are the main influences. Sepultura in the voice, because I'm assuming this band are from either Greece or Cyprus.
I agree, yeah.
The accent at times can be a bit gruff, can it? Which suits this kind of music. A bit like when you listen to Beneath the Remains from 1989. It's clear that Max isn't an English language speaker as his first language, and that came through in this band. Wasn't detrimental because, as I say, you're just going to compare it with Sepultura. Slayer, certainly to the end. That end part, so, do you know when? So I think it might have been 2 minutes 40, and then they went into that mid-tempo riff. It really needed a good Megadeth crunch riff, just simple, a bit like from Euthanasia, I think, just to see it out. And instead they went for this arpeggiated pattern, which was quite interesting, to be fair, how they were exploring that and stuck with it for the remainder of the song. Love the tempo of it, and the drums are always going to be crisp in this type of music. So yeah, they've effectively taken Slayer and Sepultura and updated it almost with like a modern metalcore production, where everything is so sharp in the mix to the point where you're thinking, can they do this live? I think they would be able to, having seen that guitar player. And the drummer, Dave, do you think he was being a bit indulgent with the number of fills put in there? Because it really added a lot to me, but you're not into that, are you? Am I right in thinking?
To be honest, if you're thinking about a Slayer-esque style song, it makes complete sense, because that's what you're listening to. And the fact that like the band like Slayer doesn't exist anymore, it's good to have a replacement. So that's the way I'm looking at this. And there are a lot of bands that sound very similar. So when you talk about this drumming, I could see Dave Lombardo, Paul Bostaph playing those sort of feels on those songs, because literally the riffs are just like just down picking fast with a little bit of shreds at the tail offs, and that's what you kind of do. 4 bars of down picking with a little tail off at the end, and off you go. And even that bit where you said the breakdown at 3 minutes in, where you're basically, and that's like Dead Skin Marsh, you've got the dual layered guitars playing the harmonies of each other. And even his vocal delivery, that barking delivery, that's Tom Araya delivery every single fucking time, but without that low end that Tom Araya has. So yeah, I liked it. But yeah, carry on. That was my feedback on it. But yeah, go on. You were saying about the drum fills anyway.
Yeah, not much more to add before I pass it on to Andy, because when you listen to music like that, we said, didn't we? We've noticed that hardcore over the last 20 years has effectively become really technical and sounds like metal. And we use that term metallic hardcore. So when you look at hardcore, that just took punk, broke it down, took out any rock and roll and blues and just made it hard, really heavy, didn't it, and aggressive. And hardcore bands have done that. So if everyone wants to know the difference between hardcore and thrash metal, there's thrash metal for you. The image of the band, the whammy bar extravaganza, the absolute perfect attention to detail. They're not there to be raw and to be really rough and ugly. It's there to absolutely pulverize you, just like, a well-oiled military machine. So yeah, it did the job. A whole album full of that. Probably lose interest after 6 songs, because you just get used to it being at such a high technical level. Yeah. It almost loses its impact. So I would give that album a listen to see if they can hold my attention. But Andy, your type of thrash metal is this, or?
I was just thinking that as you sort of finished up there, my sort of experience with thrash metal, obviously in the 90s when it was in its heyday, and when I was sort of really getting into extreme metal, then I was very much into thrash. The Big Four at the beginning, their first few albums and everything. Then sort of as the 90s went into the 2000s, I kind of moved away from thrash and got onto sort of death and doom. But I'm kind of now, moving back to some great thrash albums that are coming out. We reviewed a couple recently, and I really, really enjoyed that. Opening hooky riff was really good. First thing I wrote down was Slayer, because I only know Slayer from the first few albums. Them sort of mid sort of career and later career, I don't really know whether that's a an indication of what they perform on, I'm not sure, but they've got the great look, haven't they? The bullet belts, the studded guitar straps, the white high tops.
Yeah.
It's quite clear that I was wrong when I said they were, a new wave of British heavy metal band, because there's obviously a European connection. I think you're probably right that they're from Greece. You could tell that there's a slight inflection on the vocals, on the verse. Certainly when he's singing "Purified by Fire," that needed a bit of sort of anglicizing a little bit, but it didn't put me off at all. It's not it's not a criticism. It's what they deliver. I really enjoyed the whammy bar solo, but as you say, the second one was absolutely incredible, very technical, very accomplished, and really suited the song. And I really enjoyed it. Drumming throughout was excellent. Very crisp sound throughout the song, very well produced, and the video was a good mix of performance and story. Not a huge story element, but you get the gist, and it certainly sort of visualized the lyrics and the theme of the song. So I'll be certainly checking out Suicidal Angels. I've never heard them before. Recognise the logo, I know the name, but didn't know anything about them. But I thought that was excellent. I really, really enjoyed that.
So I'll just wrap up. Yeah, I picked up the white high tops, and I was like, okay, that was a big thing in the late '80s for thrash bands like Anthrax, Megadeth, always the jeans with the white high tops. And I looked at it, I was like, yeah, okay, so they've gone for that look. That you know what era they're from, or what area they focused on. I liked the track. I like the vocal delivery, and the fact is there's not many thrash bands that are younger thrash bands that are going for that style. They're trying to be more. They're not going back and taking the '80s thrash and going, we'll just continue from that point and carry on writing. They're all trying to do modern thrash, like the Triviums and the Bullet for My Valentines, and they're all trying to do those elements of thrash from like the early 2000s onwards. So it's actually nice to have a current band, that isn't a legacy band like Exodus or Testament, who did that sort of stuff back in the day and have completely changed their style themselves. So it's great. You've got a brand new band from the 80s that's just kind of jumped 30, 40 years into the future and gone, there we go, we'll just carry on playing. It's like, okay, I'm up for that. So I actually really enjoyed the track. I just couldn't get away from the Slayer comparisons because it's just too obvious that must be like one of their biggest influences that they've got, especially in the vocal delivery, that barking style of vocal delivery. There's no note holding. There's none of that kind of trying to let a vocal delivery ring out or anything like that. It's just on the money. And I was wondering where it was going to go, because I was at the point where I was like, yeah, there's a good 3-minute song in here. Because I was like, there's no way this is 5 minutes, 44 seconds long or whatever it was. Got to that 3 minute, and then there's a pause out, and then they started doing, as you said, the dual guitar part. I'm like, okay, right, so this is like Dead Skin Mask coming off now. Okay. They're going through the kind of ideas they've had from Slayer. So I'd be interested on an album of how much variation there is and how much they move. Do they stick within that Slayer-esque style, or do they have a Megadeth feel to certain tracks, or do they do it, or is it all going to be kind of sounding like this? I'd like to see what their individual stamp is on their own music. But video-wise, enjoyed the video. I have one bone of contention only in this video: the flame machines. Cover the base of the flame machine so it comes up behind something would look better. Don't just have these flame boxes stuck on the floor firing flame up. You're like, there's a flame box on the floor. All right, that's fine. Put a barrel or something in front of it so it looks like it's coming out of something. Be a bit more interesting with it. Put a bit of thought in it. It's like when people just get a light and put it on the floor and go, that'll do. Well, that's not very good. It's not very artistic. But apart from that, I enjoyed it. So it was just one little bone of contention for the flame machine. But there we go. Suicidal Angels and Purified by Fire. Now, if you enjoyed our video today, please do like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.